The next thing we want to tackle is the back here, getting the subwoofer enclosures put into place. It seems to make the most sense, working our way towards the front, trying to get some of these things that require us taking a lot of pieces out of the Jeep. As I've said before, I don't want a lot of stuff laying around. Finishing the sound bar, I don't want that sound bar laying around. I'm not gonna be able to fit this box into the Jeep when we're done. So in the meantime, we're just gonna store it here in this big foam box that they gave us. Let's talk about this back area for a minute. Now, some of you guys out there are gonna have this cool subwoofer here in the back of your Jeep, and some of you guys aren't. Now, if you don't, that's great, because you don't need to buy this replacement panel. The reason for that is we need to take this out to fit ours in. Our piece is only gonna be about this big, and it just isn't gonna look right. This is not gonna be finished and all that fun stuff. So make sure you order that extra piece if you have this. It is basically just a replica of the factory. It's the same thing. So if you can get an awesome deal on one from the factory, go ahead and get it. It doesn't matter. But if you can't, that's why Rockford sells it. And it can be used in any application. Like, for example, it has nothing to do with the fact that we're adding a subwoofer here. It's a standalone piece. So for those that are like, oh, wait a minute, I'm gonna put this big box here and I just don't want that. Well, you can order the Rockford piece to go in here. It's just a factory piece. So it's pretty cool. We'll be stocking it for that reason, because we do a ton of these. The guys like, can we just remove this? It's like, yeah, we can just, Rockford makes a replacement panel. It's pretty cool. But now we have to get this out, and similar to doing the overhead, there's going to be way too many steps to get this out. It's a ton of work. Start with the floor, work your way to the sides. Let's get rocking and rolling and get this thing out of here. Take this whole side of the car off. It's not much to it. 6 screws along the side here to hold those tie downs that you saw. 1 screw here to remove the panel itself, and the whole thing unsnaps. Make sure you remove this piece from the seat belt here. And then there's 2 screws here. This is kind of iffy. You probably don't need to remove these. You can remove that carpet. Let's take a look at the box and what we're going to be putting back into this place. Now on the passenger side, just so you know, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to take anything off there. Don't want to lose this, whatever it is. So when you're just pulling the foam out, always look for little bags. We'll set this in one of our bins. The new factory replica trim panel. And the new factory replica carpeted panel. Snaps right into place. And my guess is that's what this is. This is the factory snap. And one more piece located down in the bottom of the foam here. Which is the back piece that goes on the other side of the seat belt. First step is to put that cool little black plastic piece that came in that odd bag, and then the piece of carpet. Move the seat belt out of the way. Next, put the back piece of the seat belt in. In this particular Angler, he has a tire pump in the back door, so we had to notch this panel to match the panel that we took out. Factory replica panel installed. Now it's time to grab some subwoofers. We've chosen to go with the passenger side first, because the passenger side is going to run over to the driver's side and tee into place. There is a specific way that these need to go in, and they are using the factory tie-down bolts to hold it in place. With this one now installed in place, let's take a closer look at the passenger side so you can get a better idea of what this is actually doing and how it is fastened. On the top side of the box is this right here, this groove, and this is what holds the box into place into the Jeep, with the exception of these 3 screw down points which match up to the tie downs in the Jeep. And where that is designed to go is right here underneath this lip. Tongues into place underneath here and then rocks down, and it'll hit these 3 screw down points. And when it's in, it's gonna look just like this. And as you can see, this is why you have to replace that side panel. It can't simply be cut. It needs to be a replacement. Let's get this one in. One other thing to note of the driver's side subwoofer enclosure, that on the box it has an input and an output. The input is going to be coming from the amplifier. The output is going to be going over to the passenger side subwoofer. That's it. It just simply just goes into place, which is really nice. On the passenger side, there's a little piece, this little guy right here, that is part of the factory piece that does have to come off of the factory piece. It goes over into the corner. Boom. And just like that, we have our 2 subwoofers installed in place. Now, for those of you that are going, we never talked about the subwoofers. What the heck are they? These are the shallow mount T1 12s. Now you have 2 big 12s in the back here. This thing puts out a ton of bass. We've already heard it, we know this. Let's go over here into the corner and we'll show you the wiring that needs to be connected between the 2 of them. These are our 3 connectors that meet up here in the driver's side of the car. These 2 are part of a Y connector where we have a male and a female, and this one comes from that woofer over there. There is a label on it here to not get it confused with this other connector. These 2 connectors go together like this. Listen for the click, and that's it. That's all set and ready to go. This is going to go off to the amplifier that's going to be up underneath this seat. For right now, this is just going to hang out like this. I'm going to tuck them just in case this door gets closed. I don't want them to get smacked inside of here. And with both those woofers in place, this is what it looks like. So you keep all of your cargo space between the 2. It's tucked in nice and neat and pretty. Now I know what your next question is why can't I put these in a hybrid? Well, they don't fit. Where the battery goes up underneath this seat, it moves the seat location, and these boxes are a little too long. They get in the way. They'd have to be modified, cut, and it's plastic, and it could be messy. That is why it won't fit in the hybrids. It happens.